My friend and I used to have this joke that, like, for straight people, it's like fuck, marry, kill, but for queer people, it's like befriend or like become.
Congratulations on After the Hunt. I ate it up. I loved it.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. I would love to go to you first, Io, and ask you about Maggie's relationship with Alma as a person who is at the intersections of several identities. And I think especially as queer people, when we find someone who our values are aligned with, that we want to have mentor us, those feelings can be very intense. And then likewise, the disappointment in realizing their flaws is also intense. So I wonder if you would speak to that relationship.
My friend and I used to have this joke that, like, for straight people, it's like fuck, marry, kill, but for queer people, it's like fuck, befriend, or like become, like just like those feelings. You're sort of like, where am I? And sometimes it literally could change in a day, or they can be all at once. And so when I think of Maggie, I'm sort of like, she's very much wanting all of it. And I think there's a real pedestal that she puts Alma on that I don't even think she realizes how high it is, because Alma represents like so many things, even though she is out and she is like living at several intersections of just like identity. I think there's a lot that Maggie is suppressing and suppressing, you know, to herself, things she doesn't even want to know, but that are obviously broiling underneath. And so I think that sort of like desire meeting all of this suppression just ends up being this really wild pressure cooker for a lot of fascinating choices.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. And Julia, I wonder, would you talk about how the film approaches kind of cycles or say generations of abuse and this kind of idea that, you know, I think back in the day, like certainly some people didn't even think of it as abuse or power dynamics that were off. And I think the film does a really good job of that without giving it away.
Well, I think power dynamics is sort of the key, because you know, I think you speak to it a little bit of Alma's experience, and Frederick, Michael Stuhlbarg's character, speaks to it some of Alma's experience. That, and I say in the beginning, talking to Arthur, how, you know, I would get tenure because I am a woman, and it is the convenient good time to be a woman in that position, not because I've earned it, even though I have come to the head of my department surrounded by men, and, you know, was sick and gone and had to come back and start all over and build it all back stone by stone. So I think there's, you know, Alma has had this scratch and claw career, or it's like, you know, and now she's at a place where she's, you know, the duck on the pond, where you don't see the feet going like this, and she just looks like it's smooth sailing. And so I think for her, this sort of power dynamic between us, what goes on with Hank, all these things, these are the daily voices in her head that she pretends she has complete control over. So there's a lot going on all the time with everybody in this.
A lot of performance, a lot of pretending.
Yeah. A lot of fear and not knowing.